Hello, everybody. It's almost the end of July, and I'm doing a currently inked video. I haven't done one for a little while. I tend not to do them very often, every few months. And I think I'm doing pretty well. I've got 15 pens inked up, which isn't a bad number. I keep dreaming that I'll get it down to 5 or 10, but usually 15 is about the standard number because, I get new pens or I try new things out, new inks and stuff like that. And I have some pens that I always keep inked, and I have ink colors that I'm always using. At the end of the video, I'm going to tell you a tale of woe. Something really bad happened while I was preparing this video, and at the end, I'll tell you what it was. So stick around. It'll make you cry. Made me cry. Well, it made me laugh and cry. Anyway, so here we are. July 2024, July 27th, actually. And it's been a hot month. And I have pens I've shown before here. Nothing new, really. So we're just going to start and we'll run through what I have them inked in, and we'll end with my sad story. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I'm going to set up my little notebook. And I'm just going to start in no particular order. I'm going to pull out my studio, Lami Studio. And I have a medium nib in this. I don't know if you can see that very well. Anyway, so this is my Lami Studio. I really like Lami pens, and I really like the Studio, and the medium nib is very smooth. And the ink I have in this is the Mont Blanc Blue, and it's the Gustav Klimt special edition. And a friend of mine, a pen friend, thought I would like it, and I tried it, and you know what? It's actually a really nice ink to write with. It's just it's a standard dark blue. There's nothing outrageous happening. It's just has a nice flow. It's very nice to read, and it works very well in my studio, so I like it. Will I buy a bottle of Mont Blanc Blue? If I was in a city that had a boutique, I probably would drop by, and I'd probably only be able to afford a bottle of ink. And yeah, so I probably would buy one. Let's start with let's do Lami's here. This is my Lami 2000 classic pen. Once again, this is actually one I always keep inked. It's never not at a rotation. And what I have in this is, actually, so this is my Lami 2000. This is a classic pen. It's been around since the 60s. So I have Monteverde's California California teal in this. And it's a very nice ink. I think I have a little fiber on that. Just picked it up. Yeah. So California teal. And I like this ink a lot. I've had it in a couple different pens. I've had, in the 2000, it just seems like a standard, nice green ink. I had it in another pen a while back, and I seem to be getting some sheening, which was quite nice. But it doesn't seem to occur too much in the Lami 2000. This has a fine nib, I believe. I should check that again. We have two Lamis kicking around the house, one with a fine and one with a medium. So that is always a nice pen to use. Let's take. Oh yeah, this is my TWSBI Vac Mini, and once again, it tends to always be inked up. And actually, that looks really nice. So yeah, TWSBI. I think it has a extra fine nib on it. When I got it, I had a stub on it, and I just bought a new section and nib. And so I have the stub if I ever want to use it. But I prefer, for my own taste, to use a fine nib in this one. And I think it's an extra fine on this, which would be, say, like a Japanese medium, probably. Or a Japanese fine, anyway. And what I have in this is Dominant Industries. I'm trying to remember how to spell Dominant Industries. And this is the Wonder Pens exclusive, and it's tuna and olives. So Wonder Pens is a stationery shop in Toronto. And in their store, they have two cats. One is named Chicken, and one is named Tuna. So they worked with Dominant Industries, and they came up with a green that is inspired by the eye color of Tuna, which is one of the cats, the gray cat, I believe. Yeah. So it's a very nice ink. I like the brightness of it. Once again, easy to read. I haven't used it too much, that ink. One day I'm going to put it in a broad or a medium just to see if there's some sheening or anything that goes on. But it's just a straightforward ink. It's very nice. I like it. Let's go with this one. This is my little Diplomat. And this, Diplomat makes several different price ranges of pens. And the Diplomat Magnum, for instance, is actually like a $20 pen. And I keep raving about it because I'm always surprised by how lovely the nib on it is. And I've put a few different inks in it, and everything looks really nice in it. It's a wet pen. It just seems to work really nicely. Now, how long will the pen last? It's an inexpensive pen. It's plastic. Down the road, if it breaks, I'm not going to be too upset. I'll go out and buy another Magnum because I like it that much. I keep telling people, pick up a Magnum. And what I have in this is Noodler's Walnut. And it comes out as a beautiful dark brown ink. Once again, very easy to read. Very straightforward. There's not a lot going on, say like in color variations on the down or up strokes. No real sheening. There's no shimmer in these inks so far that actually I haven't been using shimmer inks lately. I've kind of gone off them. I had a little time when I was kind of into them. Lately, I've just been sort of getting away from them. And I'm not. That's just maybe someday I'll get back into them. Who knows? But right now, I'm just using straightforward inks. Let's go with this. This is my Aurora 88. And I've had this one inked up with an ink that for a long time I was having trouble finding a pen that the ink looked nice in. And with the Aurora 88, it's such a wet pen. It has a beautiful smooth nib. And it just has a great flow. What I've been using in it is the Koyo no Oto, the blue. I'm just going to say blue. And I've had it in a few different pens with fine nibs that were a little drier, and it just seemed kind of light. But in this, it just has a very nice, it's wet enough that it really looks nice. And there is some sort of shading and going on there. There's not really sheening or anything like that. And once again, no shimmer. But I do get a bit of line variation on the upstrokes and downstrokes, and it looks really nice. It almost... this pen I've used mostly with blues, and I really like it with with the Koyo no Oto blue in that one. So yeah, I've been enjoying that ink, and I'll probably put it when the pen is written dry. I might just re-ink it with that ink. It seems so nice. This here is a Sailor, and it's a double broad on this one. And what did I put in this one? Oh yeah, this is my Sailor. So it's a Sailor, and it's a double broad nib. And a friend had given me a sample of Diamine Spruce. And I believe, yeah, Diamine Spruce. Now, this is from the ink vent calendar. And I've shaken it. I don't really see any shimmer in there. Maybe I didn't shake it well enough. But I don't see any shimmer. But I could be wrong. Maybe I didn't shake it well enough. But anyway, so far there's no particles or anything like that, and that looks really nice. It's a very nice ink. Kind of reminds me a bit of the Monteverde California Teal. But, you know, it's kind of interesting, you know, the calendar that they bring out at Christmas time every year from Diamine, and they come out. I think some of the inks make it into their standard releases, and some don't, of course. I've never tried the Advent calendar. And I have to admit, the reason is I probably wouldn't have the patience to sit there opening it up one day at a time. I would be the kid that would open up the calendar, the Advent calendar, and eat all the chocolate. That would be me. So I would be the kid who would open up the ink vent calendar and use all the inks, or swatch all the inks, or check them all out. I wouldn't be able to do one day at a time. But who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. At my age, you think I would have grown out of that kind of thing, but who knows? So this is a little platinum that I have, and it's a beautiful vintage pen from the 60s. And when I bought it, it was, you know, listed as used. It almost seems like new old stock to me. I can't see any flaws on it, and I really lucked out on this little pen. I love pocket pens. I have a couple other ones, and I've gifted a few to friends, and I haven't bought any lately. I've been sort of on a, you know, summer break from buying things, just enjoying summer. And this is, yeah, so this is a little platinum pocket pen, and what it has is just a cartridge. It just has a platinum blue in it. You know, just a standard, and the reason being, I don't really think there's not enough room in it for a converter, so I've just been using the blue platinum ink cartridge, and I have to admit I really like it. Mainly, you know, it's a blue pen. And it matches, and you know, it's a 14 karat gold nib. I can't remember. Really nice writer, wet, smooth, a little bit of feedback. It's just a delightful little pen to use, and it looks really different. So it's kind of an eye catcher. You know, it's rhodium plated, very sort of a white silver. I like this pen a lot. I like all my pens a lot. Well, I shouldn't say that. I don't like all my pens a lot. Some of them I don't like, but I don't use those. So this is an old, well, I know this is not an old pen. This is the Pilot E95S. I've had it for a little while. Really love it. It's kind of a modern take on Japanese vintage pocket pens. And in some cases, except for the nibs and stuff like that, it looks exactly like the vintage pens. Actually, I smudged that and I had a little bit of blue on my finger. So this is, yeah, the Pilot. And, you know, the E95S is, if you're looking for your first gold nib pen, I would recommend the E95S. mainly because it's a beautiful pen, and it's actually a very reasonable price for a gold nib. So it's a good entry-level gold nib. And what do I have in this? I have the I have Mont Blanc again in this. Sorry. And it's just called Burgundy Red. My handwriting is terrible tonight. I'm looking over my camera here. So yeah, so Pilot E95S, Mont Blanc Red. I actually quite like it. It's a wet, smooth ink. It kind of dries a little lighter than what you see there, or it has in some other instances. It has a nice flow, and it's a readable ink. Like, readable inks are important to me. That might sound weird. I don't like oranges. I don't like pinks. I don't like yellows. Colors that are too light, I find a little tiresome on my eyes. And yeah, but that, so certain types of reds I don't like. Too bright of red I don't like. So, but I like something that's kind of an earthy red, and it's a very nice burgundy red. Interesting thing about Mont Blanc is the fact that their names are so, not fancy, maybe the word I'm looking for. They're just straightforward. They just say, this is what it is. It's blue, burgundy red, etc. I'm going to show you another little pocket pen since we're on a roll here. And this one is a Sailor. So Platinum, Pilot, and Sailor. Covering all the bases, right? And once again, this is a pocket pen from the late 60s. And I really like this pen. Once again, I got this from a seller in Japan. Sorry, kicking the camera. And it's essentially seems to me to be new old stock. It's there's no wear on this pen. When I bought it, I was buying a used pen, and I got it, and I was quite surprised at how pristine it was. If it was used very lightly. And I was lucky enough to get it. And once again, I have a Sailor Blue in it, just a cartridge, because it's a little small for a converter that I have anyway, the ones I have kicking around. So it's just a Sailor Blue cartridge, and it works perfectly. It's a beautiful ink. This is a very fine nib, easy to read, looks nice, straightforward, simple, elegant. Like me. Yeah. Okay. This here is a this here is a find of the lifetime for me, if that makes sense. And what it is it's a Snorkel, a Schaefer Snorkel. That I had picked up at, I picked this up at Value Village here in Charlottetown. And once again, it's a lovely ink. And I'm trying to remember what it was. My notes tell me it's Waterman's Serenity Blue, but there's something going on here. I think it's actually turned into a kind of I put Waterman's Serenity Blue in it, and before that I had a Diamine Ancient Copper, and somehow they've combined to make actually a rather pretty purple. So yeah, it is Waterman's Serenity Blue. Excuse my horrible handwriting tonight. Yeah, I was looking at it and I was trying to think, what was that? And what it is Waterman's Serenity Blue. There's a latex sack in these pens, so there must have been a little bit of residue from it. I washed it out really well, but it must have combined and sort of created a little bit of a purple. still flowing very nicely. It's not dry or anything like that. It hasn't clogged it up. But, you know, I wish I could find that actual color. It's quite pretty. Nice little accident there. Yes, who knows? Maybe that's bad for the pen. I know. Now this is my Cross Solo. And, you know, this is a pen I'm actually quite pleased with, but I'm going to change the ink. I've loved this pen, and it's very smooth, has a nice flow, has a very fine nib, and for whatever reason, it's worked well with, say, darker blues and things like that. Or, you know, I've had diamine in it, ancient copper, and blood orange in it, and it looks really nice. But I was just trying something different in it, and I don't like it. It's the dominant industry. It's dominant industry. Chicken in the sky with diamonds. Now, I'm going to write that out. Chicken in the sky with diamonds. And once again, this is a Wonder Pens exclusive, and it's based on the eye color of the cat, the studio cat, or the shop cat named Chicken. He has this sort of beautiful, like lovely bluish eyes right now. But it doesn't work so well in this pen. I've had it in a couple other pens, and it worked really nicely. But I think it's the fact that this is such a fine nib, and the two just don't work. So I'll clean it out, and I'll put something a little darker in it, and a little bit wetter, something different. I'll have to go through my notes, see what I had in before. But it's a lovely pen, and it's a lovely ink, but they don't work together. That happens. So, yeah, live and learn. And let's try this one. This here is my Diplomat Arrow. I'm a huge fan of Diplomat. And this has a medium nib, and it's a gusher, especially with this ink. So I have, where is it? Yeah, once again, it's diamine. It's from the Ink Vent calendar, and it's called Pick Me Up. And I just have this little sample. It's a lovely, lovely, rich brown. Not unlike the Noodler's walnut up there. There's a bit of burnt sienna qualities to it. It has a really nice flow. Really nice in this pen. I'm trying to think if there's been any inks that I haven't really liked in this pen. So far, I've liked everything I've put in it. But yeah, I quite like this ink here, the Pick Me Up, Diamine Pick Me Up. It's a lovely brown. I don't know if it's in a standard size bottle or anything like that. I don't know if it was just a limited edition. It's a bit redder than the Noodler's Walnut, which tends toward a burnt umber. There's a bit of green in the Noodler's Walnut, burnt umber. This is a bit of more burnt sienna. I can see more red. I can see a little bit of more green in the Diplomat Noodlers and the Noodler's Walnut. So yeah, that's quite nice. I like it. I have a number of brown inks that I quite like. So this is my Diplomat Excellent. Oh, I got ink on myself. Yeah, imagine that. And what finger am I using here? So it's the A2, Diplomat Excellent A2. Has an extra fine nib. I'm trying to recall what's in it. Very nice ink. What it is the Ink Institute. And it's jadeite. Now, oh yeah, it's happening. This is an example of how inks in different pens show different characteristics. In a medium nib, jadeite really sheens. It's like almost like this beautiful, it's a green ink, but it also on certain strokes has this beautiful metallic red sheen occur. Like I had it in a couple of medium. Actually, I had it in the Arrow at one point with the medium nib, and it really picked up the sheen. In the Diplomat Excellent, it's still a beautiful ink. It just doesn't sheen as much, but it's a finer nib. So yeah, but I like it. But it just doesn't have the characteristics occurring that make the ink special. So, but I'll use it all. I'll let it dry and put something else in it eventually. That I probably won't use the jadeite in it again. But it's actually quite, it looks very nice. So yeah, it just doesn't have the traits occurring. And this is my Pelican 405. M405. No, Pelican 405. Yeah. Lovely pen. A beautiful ink. One of my favorite inks. So yeah, the Pelican 405. And it has Pilot Irashizuku Konpeki in it. Which is beautiful, sort of a light blue ink, but it has, on the downstrokes, you get this nice dark, so there's some line variation going on, some shading, some, different things going on. So like you can see on the downstrokes, you get some nice lines. One of my favorite inks, beautiful ink. It's lighter blue, but it's easy to read. And that's in my Pelican. And I'm going to end with my Pilot Custom 74. Pilot Custom 74. And what do I have in that? I have Monteverde's Amethyst. And I really like this ink. I quite like Monteverde inks. I've not had any problems with the Monteverde inks. There used to be issues at one point. I've heard rumors that sometimes they would spoil, but I've had different bottles for quite a while, and I've never had any problems. So I think they're good. They're good to go, as they say. So and they have some really nice colors. And the amethyst is actually a very pretty purple. And other than my happy accident in my Snorkel, I don't really have a lot of purples. And this is a very lovely ink, and also reasonably priced. Very good. So what terrible accident befell me? And what made me cry? Well, not really cry, but just made me go, oh. So the other day I was setting up to do this video. I put everything on my desk, put all my inks on my desk and stuff like that. Got it all set. And then I got distracted. And I only just got back today to do this video. But last night, my daughter came in and she said, "Dad, there was an accident. And I go, oh no, what happened? She goes, well, the cats jumped into the window where your desk is. And when they jumped onto the desk, somehow they pulled everything off the desk. I was like, oh no, what happened? And she goes, well, you lost some ink. And I went, oh God. And she showed me her hand. She was trying to clean it up. She had all this ink on it. And so I went, oh, that looks bad. But for some reason, I didn't really clue into which ink it was. It's my Pilot Arashizuku Konpeki. Oh. So it was in the box. It was in the box. That's the thing that kind of bugs me. And it fell on the floor, and it actually, you know what? It fell on a floor with a rug on it. And the cap broke. It broke. Look, and all the ink in the box. Like, look at the box. It was in the box. The box is full of ink. Anyway, I had a little bit of ink left in in it, actually. I didn't lose it all. I had enough to fill a fairly good size sample tube that I had kicking around that was nice and clean. And so I didn't lose it all. I have a couple fills. And I can get that in town, you know. But, oh, I was sad. But, not a biggie. Really, it's just an accident. Gives me an excuse to buy a new ink. Anyway, so there you have it. What I have inked. My sad accident. I learned my lesson. Don't leave inks sitting on the table with 3 absolutely crazy cats kicking around the house. But anyway, I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having a great day. I hope you enjoyed this long rambling video. It's fun to do these. I don't do them that often. But anyway, if you would like to help out my channel, just give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. What's the worst thing that's happened to you as a fountain pen user, other than say, let's not say like damaging pens, but what's the worst thing that has happened to you, you know, ink wise or damaged paper, things like that? Let me know in the comments. It'll be interesting to read. But anyway, I hope you're well. Take care. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.